Shanea, and we are back. And if you're joining us right now, we are moving into our second conversation for this morning, all about the International Day of the Girl Child. In the studio with us, we have three lovely ladies from various high schools, all talk about what this year's theme means to them. Coming from Sadie Vernon High School, we have Julissa Scott. Hi, Julissa Scott. Good morning, Julissa. We have Emily Sarimento from Gwenlis High School and Leah McCord from EP York High School. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
All right. So I wanted to start off by talking about the International Day of the Girl Child, and it is in line with the problems that girls face in society today, whether that be education, economics, politics, however you want it. And the theme this year is Our Time is Now, Our Rights, Our Future. Julissa, let's start with you. Tell us what this theme means for you.
Well, we were discussing at the back. To me, female really don't have the opportunity. Female doesn't have the opportunity to do what they want. Always what males want. We have discrimination about our body, like we're only supposed to do what they want with our body, not what we want. Also our jobs. Female have certain jobs they could do, but not what we want. That's on my behalf.
Okay. Emily, tell me.
Well, as same as Julissa said, like, with girls doesn't really have like the right in their like career, like they don't have like, the males will look at the female like they don't have the capability to do as they can do, like they don't think we have the strength, like we're just like all about emotional, like, you know, like we're weak. And right, so like in Belize, like the drivers, you only see like male drivers and you don't like really see like female drivers, because as we were saying, like in there were like every time they see like someone that can't drive, they were like, oh, that's like a woman in the car that can't drive, and like they're just like, that's the first thing that will come to mind, right? So my saying would be like, they don't really like believe what female can do, what a male can do. Yes.
And what about opportunities? How do you see the opportunities for young girls and females?
Well, growing up, what I experienced was that you would always see a female in the doing the traditional roles, which follow along with cultures or beliefs. You would always see them doing housework, looking after kids, cooking, stuff like that. And I believe that that hinders your academic scores. Like when you're focused on all the people in your house or focused on everyone else but yourself, it slows down how you learn, and it just disrupts the process. And because of that, when you're looking at your grades, that also affects what college you get into, or it affects how well you do in school. And overall, that just, it messes up with what you're going to be in the future. So let's say you wanted to be a lawyer, but when you're studying in high school, you couldn't focus on yourself, which messed up with your grades. And because of that, when you were looking to get into a college, you couldn't get into the one that you wanted, like the top tier schools, like maybe Harvard, maybe you want to go to Yale and stuff like that. And when you're looking at things like that, when you're trying to be a lawyer, per se, it just overall, like when you're trying to get into the top tier schools, when you're looking to be a lawyer, sorry, I'm mumbling, but
no, it's okay. I get what you mean.
Yes, because you're not from the top tier schools, people wouldn't look at, like they wouldn't fully recommend you, you know, stuff like that. So that messes up with your opportunities.
And do you see these realities in your community?
Yes, I do, because speaking from experience, I have a couple friends who, as a female, they have to work right now, and because of that, they're missing out on a lot of school. And when they're in school, you can see her shining. You can see that she's smart, but because she's missing out on so much school, her grades are bad right now, and it's because she has to provide for her family. So yes, I do see it in my community, and it's so much more than that. There's so many other people. Like one of my friends also, she was sick, and she still had to look after her younger siblings. She had to cook, she had to clean, and because of that, she had to drop out of my school because she was failing as well.
All right, so I'm in a very, very delicate seat, right? A ratio of 4 to 1, right?
Yes.
So I have to tread very, very carefully.
Just a little
here.
bit.
Okay, now I've listened carefully to what you young ladies have shared, and I acknowledge it and I respect it. What I'm getting from you is a sense of equality, wanting for the playing field to be as level as possible for opportunities for male and females. That's fair enough to say, right? Now, I've also listened to what you've shared in terms of academic pursuits, school, and what the reality of your life may be at home or otherwise, right? Some situations aren't your creation. Some situations you're naturally born into, right? So that when you have a scenario where you want to be a lawyer, that's all you're dreaming about, that's all you're working towards individually, but your parents have 6 of you guys, right? And you fall somewhere either in the middle or as the eldest of 6 children. Automatically that comes with certain responsibilities that you can't shy away from. You have to look after the lead brother, you have to look after the lead sister, you have certain chores, etc. Now, I think part of that is being able to understand the situation that you're in. You didn't cause it, but you have a role and responsibility to your parents and to your siblings as much as you have to your school, right? And so the idea here is not to take your mind off your dream or your goal, but to try to balance how you're able to operate at home and at school. You use the example of a friend of yours who is bright otherwise, but because she has to be working or because she has missed so much classes that she doesn't have the proper tuition, so to speak, cannot perform academically because her grades aren't where it's supposed to be. Right? I think you as her friend, and I'm coming across as if though I'm giving advice, but it's just having listened, right? I think you as her friend, your role is to motivate her to see how best she can complete her sessions in school. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to move far ahead and see someone fall behind. Not when you're friends, not when you're the best of friends, right? You have to be able to bring each other along, right? I think though, by and large, when you look at the situation in Belize, I can't speak for anywhere else in the world, but I'll speak for Belize, right? The tide is turning, where you have more females taking up certain roles that we men, for whatever reason, have given up on. You find that if you look at the dropout rate, for instance, more males are out of school than they should be, right? And so when you look at that versus academic qualification down the road, perhaps you'd have a better opportunity at getting certain jobs that the unqualified male wouldn't have. So maybe there's a change in the way things are, the way how society works, right? So maybe that's something you guys can look at as well as something to look forward to.
I'll be devil's advocate. I will play the role of the girl and to take it a step further, and I will kind of piggyback on what you said about the responsibility, right? Because as young women and as a woman, there are certain societal expectations. Not so much so that it's always going to be from the men, but just society in general. Where even if you are a working career woman, you're still expected to be the domestic wife at home. And that in itself of equality or equity, if I may, is already unbalanced. It's already, all right, I want to be a career woman and I want to be able to provide, but I also have to work my 8 to 5 and then come home, cook, clean, and make sure that everything is ready for the next day. So when I'm
Is it too
thinking
much to
about,
ask, though, or is it an unrealistic expectation?
yes, please.
I believe that all the while that it may be an unrealistic expectation, that I believe that the domestic chores can be shared. If I'm the breadwinner, looking at it, if I'm the one making the money in the house, I work from a 9 to 5, I come home, at least have the dishes washed.
Yeah.
Like we could share like from 5 to 6, maybe say 5 to 6, or until I come home. You look after the kids if we have kids. When I don't get my leave nap, I don't take my leave rest, I could help you out with the chores. I could help around the house, but please do not expect me to work so long during the day, and then when I come back home, I still have to do everything else.
Exactly.
It could be shared.
And the reality is that is the expectation for the woman in the house. And I 100% there with you. Please advocate some more, because that comes with the reasons why we have this day, to raise this awareness as to how you guys can progress for a better future.
Yes.
So while we are, I 100% agree with this, Shanea, that we see a more awareness for and campaigns for women in education and so forth. Our male rate is at an all-time low in terms of school. You have more male dropouts and so forth, and so we do advocate for those. But the society is still imbalanced when it comes to the expectations of what a young girl must provide or what a young girl must bring to the table. Because now, yes, you have opportunities. You can be a lawyer in this day and age. You can be a mechanic in this day and age. You can do all of these things. But there is still that expectation of smile and look pretty for the camera, because that is what you're supposed to do as a woman. So in terms of what you think society needs to change for young girls, tell me what you think.
I think that females not only want to be seen because of their looks or their body shape or whatever males classify us as, but we also want to be heard. We want to have the opportunity to speak and explain how we feel, not classify we as emotional or we're too soft. We just need the opportunity to say how, okay, I was researching last night and I found out that Clara Zetkin, she was the one that came up with this Woman's Day. She saw injustice that was back in the days when females couldn't vote. She saw injustice and she had this whole riot. So a lot of people discriminate. She get beaten. People burn down her clothes off of her line or things like that. But she never gave up. And I think that what females want, because she don't like what role model now for most females. And I think that what we want to say for we want to just speak up. We want to have that opportunity for do what males could, because females could do what males could do, maybe even better, who knows.
Fair enough.
And like, if like now, like we have like role models, like younger like female will like look at them and like they will be motivated to try like become like, you know, like, cause as you said, like they have like now we can like do, yes, we can like do the same job as them, but when we're in that position, they will still like, we have to look at the era like when they're cause they will have more males in that position, and they will look down on the girl and they will like be, oh, she just need to work in the office, like the position, like for example, like like we did speak about that, and like fire workers, like they will like only have the male out in the field and the females like behind the phone and like you know. So that we need to work on, because not only males can be out there doing that, females can do the same. They can like we can do the same. Like all of us are equal, and we have the same strength to do it.
So let me ask you guys quickly then. Who are some of your female role models, women role models? I ask because I am so far detached from being a teenager, right? so if I am to try to remember who my male role models were at the time when I was a teenager, I wouldn't be able to remember. But I am asking that in the context of everything that's happening around us. You have social media, you have all of these women, all of these men who stand for something. Some stand for something positive, some stand for all the wrong things, but we still look up to them nonetheless. Who are some of your role models?
Like my role model would be, well, I know like my mother, for example, like she's my role model because she does both. She does the household like stuff and she works, so she does both. And I look upon her like she have this strength, she have this capability. She's smart and she just really motivates me to try to become like her because honestly, she went to America, right? And she said it was like difficult in America, like being a woman there because she said male get more opportunity, more jobs, and she was like, even though it was like struggling for her, like she had struggles like there with work, she still did it, and that right there does like motivate me because inspire me actually because something like that, it was like difficult, but she still went through it with her best capability, and that's why I would like say my mother is my role model.
I have multiple role models in my life. First of all, like she said, her mother. I have my mother and my older sister. And then I also have this artist that I look up to, Melanie Martinez. But the reason why I look up to my mother and my sister is because they went through a lot of struggles back then. And they are still going through those same struggles today. Like my older sister, she suffers from anxiety. And she has a child, right, that she has to look after. And they went through a lot, and I'm glad that they're still able to be there for me and to try to help me out. And I look up to Melanie Martinez because as an artist, she motivates people. She speaks up about problems in the world and about problems that we as women go through. And I look up to them because they push people. They motivate you to move forward, to advance, and that is why I do that.
My role model, I have two actually. My grandma and Alicia Clara. Alicia Clara is a singer. She uses her voice to express her feelings because nobody never listened to her otherwise. My granny, she is my biggest role model. She has kids her own, and she still deal with her grandkids. My mom has 3 kids, and 3 of us is with my grandmother. My grandmother can't walk that much, but she still finds it her hard time to get up out of bed, get us ready to school. When we come home, food is on the table, and everything is done.
Perfect. Well, ladies, I hope that you are able to inspire a young girl that is watching and paying attention this morning. And I mean, I applaud you for coming on. I know that this is something that is difficult, and so congratulations to the 3 of you for getting through. You did a great job. Stay in school. I think I don't have school today. Yeah, don't pass it. And we expect great things. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
And with that, we are going to take our final break and we'll be back to wrap up. So stay tuned.